Hello you guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Nobu Kumalo. It's so good to have you here. If it's your first time here, welcome to the channel, and if you're coming back, thank you so much for your continued support. The sun is shining, the skin is skinning, the girl is a year older. I mean, life is good, man. Life is good at the moment. I missed you guys last week, and I know, and I hope you missed me too. It was my birthday last Sunday on the 19th of March, and I was turning 28. So I took that day off because I just spent the day with family and friends and had a good time. And I had promised that I would do a Q&A for my birthday, and so this is the video of the Q&A. But before we get to that, I was just reflecting on the past year, and I think I have to say that God has been so good to me this past year. I grew in so many ways. This is a year that I started this YouTube channel, and I, grew this family that I'm growing here. All the ups and the downs, all the many times I've felt like quitting, and. But God has been so faithful. And as human as I am, I fell out of the way once or twice or three or four, 10 times, and disappointed God. But out of His infinite love and mercy for me, He so it fit that I lived to see another year, that I lived to hit the mark of having lived for 28 years. There's a tweet that I saw at the beginning of the year that says, oh, waze wasithwala uThixo singamkhonzi nakahle. And I think for me that sums up the whole of my past year, to say, look, I was not perfect in any ways. I did things that I wasn't supposed to do, said things I wasn't supposed to say, treated people in the way that God would not have me treat them. But God carried me through. Thixo ungethwele in spite of my unfaithfulness, I traveled last year, this time actually, I was in the Maldives. I had never been there. As in the Maldives, I had a beautiful birthday week holiday. I spent a bit of time in South Africa with my family close to the end of the year. That was amazing. My partner, my husband, has been, the greatest support for me since I knew him, started dating him, and particularly this past year. He's just continued to be consistent and to be the amazing person that he is. It's when we bought our first property as well in South Africa, so that was amazing. I changed jobs. I moved from one firm to another firm, and I was talking to my friend the other day, and I was saying I actually feel really at peace. Like, I don't dread waking up in the morning to go to work. Of course, like, life has its ups and downs, so there's some days I would rather sleep in, but it's not because work is a stressful environment or whatever, but it's just being human, But one of the biggest things that I'm grateful for that happened this past year is the gift of friendship and community. There are some friends that came into my life and were seasonal. They were great for that specific time, and there was support that I needed at that time. Some of the friendships fizzled out. Others are a bit more laid back, but for the season that God had allowed them to be in my life, they were so meaningful, so helpful, and so valuable. And I can only hope that when they look back at those seasons when I was in their lives as well, they feel that I was God sent and I was, valuable to them. But the biggest thing is the growth of a church family, a community. So because I'm a busy person, me and my husband are busy people, we typically spend our days at work the whole week, and so church really is the only place where we can kind of form a community. And somehow God orchestrated things. The past year, the influx of people from Southern Africa, so from Botswana, from Zimbabwe, from South Africa, who joined that church, people of round about the same age, people who think the same. There's that familiarity. There's so many common things that we have together. We just flooded that church, and I think there's about like 15 or 16 of us now, and we're trying to form this little community of ours. So like on Sunday, like I said, I had them over at my place, and we played games, we had fun, we ate food, we ate cake. 2 weeks back we had this like dombolo supper thing where like we had a bring and share to sort of like recreate the 7 colors, Sabbath lunch that would normally have at work at home. And it was so beautiful and enriching, and finding pockets each and every day to be in each other's lives outside church and to build a community and a friendship. And this is something that 2 3 years ago I didn't see myself having in the UK. You know, it felt like such a lonely place. I didn't know if we would ever really feel like we belong or we have a support system, but slowly but surely it's coming together, and I just want to thank God for that. um, yeah, I cut my hair twice. So I had long hair at the beginning of last year. I cut my hair into a pixie in September, and about 2 weeks before my birthday, I cut it short. I was tired of the pixie. A lot of people have said this looks good on me. They want me to keep it. I don't know if I want to keep this short hair going for long or if this is the beginning of me growing it. I don't know, man. But that's the other thing that I really enjoyed last year. I took so many leaps. Like if I felt like doing something, I did it. Like I grew out of my shell and I allowed myself to explore myself and rediscover myself and grow into the woman that I want to be. And I stopped making things or opinions or what people would think hold me back. Like honestly, the only like go ahead, not even go ahead, like the only validation or support that I need is my husband, to be fair. Like I consult my husband and be like, I feel like cutting my hair. What do you think? Not that if he says don't, he would never say don't do anything. He is not, he his personality, his being is that we are partners. He is not lord over me, so he could never mandate that I do or don't do anything. But he is the person that I run stuff by. So like I remember before I cut my hair, I sent him like tons of hairstyles, and to him they all looked the same. And I was like, no, they are not the same. And he was just excited. He's like, I like this cut on you. This is fresh, you know. So when he said go for it, honestly, I didn't care what anyone else would think. And I know a few people are mad that I keep cutting my hair, but I'll grow it back maybe. Maybe I'll keep this short hair thing. I don't know. I'm just winging life and I'm enjoying it. And so this is 28. I don't know what the year will bring. I think this year I don't even want to like plan too much. I think this is the year of just being still and letting God be God. You know how he still, how he says, be still and know that I am God. I think this is the year I just want to be still. And being still doesn't mean doing nothing or wasting away or not using your potential, but it's saying I want to take time to quiet the noise and listen to what God would have me do and be and say from day to day. Because I can make plans for this YouTube channel, I can make plans for my career, I can make plans for my family, but ultimately, if God says no, and if it's not in line with the will of God, nothing will come to pass. So I think this is the year I want to be still and listen to God, reconnect with Him, reconnect with my family, and yeah, that's the update. That's the update. So thank you for submitting your questions for the Q&A. I received them and I'm going to answer them now. There weren't many, thankfully, so I think this would be relatively quick. So I'll start right from the bottom. Miss Chi Tame, I hope I said that right, says, what's your side hustle besides YouTube, obviously? First things first, YouTube is not even a side hustle for me, honestly. Like, for you to start considering YouTube as a side hustle, like for it to actually make considerable income, it takes a lot of watch hours, a lot of subscribers and viewers and all that, and I'm just not there yet. It is making money in the background, but I don't view it as an income source, and you probably see from like my lack of consistency and all that. So I wouldn't really call YouTube a side hustle, to be fair. It just happens that I've met the thresholds that I needed to monetize, so it's monetized, but I don't really treat it like a source of income. That said, I actually do not have a side hustle. Like, I just have my corporate job, which thankfully, thank Jesus, pays me extremely well, and I invest that money. So maybe you could say that's my side hustle, but I don't hustle. I just let my money work for me. So I invest in stocks and shares. I also invest in, I also do this thing called angel investing, which is investing in startups, like tech companies that are coming, fintech companies that are coming up. So the startup investments. Yeah, that is what I do with my money, but that is long term. So it's not even like I have a paycheck from these things every single month. No, I just put my money away, and one day, 10 or so, whatever years from now, I am going to be living off those investments. So it is growing, but I don't withdraw that money. I just let it continue to grow and compound, whoever it is. So, yeah, I'm a corporate girl and I have no side hustle. I'm just taking the good money my employer pays me and making it work for me. I have tried side hustles before, but I feel like at this stage, like I'm just trying to push my career, and it's very busy, so I don't really have time to run a side hustle. Tirivashe Chembe Tete, ooh, I hope I said that right, says, would you want to raise kids in the UK or you prefer bringing them up in Africa? You know, the UK is great in that there's free healthcare. Well, it's not technically it's not free, but you get the point. Free healthcare, free primary school education, and I think high school. I'm not sure. So there's a lot of perks in terms of the UK, and it's a developed country, obviously. So exposure, in terms of thinking about their future, it would make sense to bring them up here. But at the same time, the UK is a very lonely place, particularly London, which is where we live. I know we could move out, but honestly, I do not see myself living in a smaller city. I came to this country to advance my career, and London is the best place to do it. So I don't think I would move to a smaller city. So that's off the table. So in London is a very busy and lonely place, and might not really have a lot of support to raise kids, and I also want quite a number of kids, so I will need some support. And I feel with the level at which would need to operate and be busy in the London would not allow me to be the type of parent that I want to be to my kids. I envisage a life where I'm a very active and present parent in their lives, where I'm there for the school drop-offs and pickups, for the sports days, for the recitals and everything. And I just don't see how that would happen in London because I would just have to be very busy. So the hope has always been that, you know, we set ourselves up, we work hard here, we sort of like invest and save and all that and build a life for us to get back home. But the way things are moving in Africa, it's also getting a bit scary, because we're like, the way the economy just keeps going down, 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 down. It's like, what will we actually go back to? So an ideal situation would be if we could keep our jobs, or remote jobs, whatever, keep being paid in pounds, but we are living back in South Africa. South Africa, because my husband is a permanent resident in South Africa, we would not be going back to Zimbabwe. So if we're going back to Africa, it would be South Africa. That would be great. But with the way South Africa is going, load shedding, potholes, crime, like there's just so much going. So preference, Africa. Reality, I don't know. Like I said, this year we're just going to let God lead and we'll see where He takes us. Are you and hubby looking to be in London forever, or would you consider moving elsewhere? Honestly, forever is not a thing. We're not going to be in this city, country forever. The UK is just not a forever place for us. It is a place where we need to be right now because we're at the peak of our careers and we need to make the most and build a name for ourselves. But the plan is always to move away from London. Ideally back to South Africa, but like I said in my previous response, I don't know the way the economy is going. So maybe, I don't know, maybe we'll move to Australia, maybe we'll move to Dubai, I don't know. But forever, London, nah, it's not happening. And then, please consider, oh, that was Nogwanda, by the way. And then Lebohang says, please consider going back to vlogs. Guys, my life is not interesting enough for vlogs. Like I was telling my husband the other day that I feel like being a vlogger is like a career on its own because you have to always be finding ways to make your life interesting, right? So I now have to buy things I don't need so that I have unboxings. I now have to do my nails more often than not so that I have like nail salon visits. I now have to host people so that I have cook-alongs. Like, if you're a proper influencer way of deal drop-offs and, you know, deal lunches and events and all that, it kind of makes sense because you have stuff to vlog on. But my life is so repetitive. Like, I wake up at the same time every day, I go to work, I come back, I chill on the couch, I sleep, and I do it all over again, and the weekend comes. So I don't know, man, if my life is interesting enough to vlog. But again, this is a year, like I said, of just being still. So I will not say you will never see a vlog from me again. Maybe I might have an interesting weekend here and there and think, let me vlog this weekend because it's fun and interesting. You'll see a vlog. But I'm not committing to becoming a vlogger. But yeah, I will consider like throwing in a vlog here and there, or maybe when I travel with something exciting happening. Yeah, I think that's a fair, you know, exchange. That's a fair compromise. Cool. And then Dwani says, someone already beat me to it, but are you looking to stay in the UK long enough to get the passport? Absolutely, yes. So as much as London or the UK is not a forever place, as much as we want to move back with our kids, we are not moving back until we have that British passport. We are just not going to do that. Come rain or sunshine, we are going to be here until we get that citizenship, that British passport. And then, uh, sorry, I cropped out the name from this person. You'll forgive me. Someone says, given a chance, if you're not already doing so, what sort of charity work would you do and where? So one of my dreams has always been to empower girl children, and I've for a long time been thinking about doing something back home in Zimbabwe to empower girl children. So I have in my plans the hope or dream to have a sponsorship in my name, where I will sponsor a few girls to study law, particularly law, because I feel like there's a lot for STEM people, so people in the sciences, etc., whatever STEM stands for, but there isn't much emphasis on kids that are in the arts in law. So I hope to one day work with a law firm in Zimbabwe so that we can come together and like sponsor a few kids for their LLB degrees, uh, and maybe like prize givings, like you know when there's like speech and prize giving days, there's like sponsors that sponsor specific prizes. I think I would want to sponsor maybe the best prize in I don't know what subjects. I didn't do like mainstream arts in my high school, so I don't know what is the most important subject. Maybe history or literature, I don't know. But yeah, I should just sponsor awards and scholarships in the art space. Uh, Other charity work that I kind of do is that my husband and I have a benevolent fund, and from time to time we just try and find a need in the community, and we just pour money into that. It's nothing specific to say we only channel to this charity or this kind of work. It's whenever there's a need and we have the means, we always have the means because we have a benevolent fund that we're always growing. So we'll take out money and give to that charity. And then your second question was, how do you make sure that your dreams and aspirations are aligned with God's will for your life? Uh, Honestly, for me, it's how easily things that how easily things have fallen in place is kind of confirmation that God is with me, or that God wants this for me. So like when I think of me moving here, how things fell in place. I was in my third year and I was thinking what will happen, and then I applied for this and it fell in place. At the end of my training last year, I wasn't getting what I wanted in my previous workplace, and then this came in place, and it like just the ease at which things have happened for me kind of tells me that God has put a rubber stamp on it. Sometimes I get it wrong and I ask for things and they don't happen, but to be quite honest, the past couple of years, I mean, I can't think of any big substantial things that I've asked for that God hasn't given me. And I say God particularly because I could do things to make them happen, and I think I would know if all these things and doings were just because of my efforts. But like I'm saying, the space that I've walked into and the ease at which things have fallen into place, for me, the only way to explain those things has to be that God has willed it so. Okay, and then what practices do you apply to protect your peace, even from people who may think they mean well? I don't know, man. Like for some reason, like people don't bother me. Like I don't know. Maybe I have a stank face and I'm unapproachable, or I have a mind your own business aura. But to say people uh, cramping my style or getting in the way of my peace, I would honestly be lying. No one's bothering me. I was even thinking about the other day that even things like having kids and all that, like we have the odd one or two auntie or granny who say, but it's really odd. But like people haven't felt the need to be nosy and ask me why my husband and I don't have kids yet, or why I'm doing this or that. Like people just don't bother me. And maybe it's because I keep my cards relatively close to my chest. Maybe it's because I keep a very small circle. So people don't feel they don't, we're not friends like that. So they can't like get in my space, which is good for me. I've always generally had a small circle of friends. And I think that has helped to maintain my peace. I don't know what it is, but honestly, I can't say I struggle with public opinion or people are mean or people are stress me out and I have to block things out. Like, people just don't bother me. I am genuinely happy. My life is cool. I am at peace with people. I also try not to step on people's toes, to be good and kind to people as much as I can so that I don't have issues with people. So yeah, that is just me. My life is genuinely peaceful, you guys. I don't have drama, thank God. And then, what have you learned in the past years? Do you have any regrets in life? What makes you happy? Uh, what I've learned is just to let things be, to just go with the flow, but at the same time, like, put in the work. Like, you cannot dream your life into existence. You have to take the step to make things happen and ask for help when you need help, and to believe in myself and my capabilities and the fact that I'm in the spaces I'm in because I deserve to be there. Sometimes it doesn't feel that way, imposter syndrome, etc. But the fact that I've made it this far means that I deserve to be in the spaces that I'm in because God has said I am worthy of the spaces. And so I've learned to just trust that and believe and take it by faith. Do you have any regrets in life? Absolutely none. I have zero regrets in life. All the good and the bad things that have happened to me, some of which I doing of my own bad decisions, have in one way or the other um, contributed to the adult and the human that I am today. So I have learned things even from unfortunate circumstances. Regret is such a useless emotion because what are you gonna do with the regret? If I regret having done ABC, then like I can't walk it back. I can't take it back. It's a useless emotion. So I have made mistakes. I have learned things the hard way. I've gotten burnt. It was uncomfortable. It was painful, but I don't regret it. It has contributed to the person that I am today. Yeah. And what makes you happy? I am just a happy chap, man. I I can't point to one thing that makes me happy. So on my birthday, we went around the room and people were saying, their first impressions and their general, thoughts and well wishes for me. And what almost every person kept saying is that I'm a very bubbly person. I have a lot of banter and quirks, and I'm always making jokes and cracking jokes. Like, there's a group of about 15 people, and they kind of all had the exact same thing to say. And the other day, my husband was like, you're such a joy, like, to be around. And I don't know what it is, but I am genuinely just a happy person. Like, I do have my low days, my grumpy days, my moody days when I don't want to talk to anyone, but they're generally very, very few. I don't take myself seriously. I don't care what people think. I play and joke a lot. That is what makes me happy, or keeps me happy. But obviously, the things that bring me joy and fulfillment are my family, my husband, my parents, my sister, my friends who are now adopted family, because there are friends that are really close and are like family. Those people bring me joy. But other than that, like, I just take each day as it comes and I'm just a happy chap. Cool. And then that was Nomfundo. And then Sanya says, what do you think about the book of Revelations? And do you think we're in the last days now? Thank you. What do I think? I believe 100% in the Bible. So this is such a loaded question. Like, why do I think about the book of Revelations? I think it's in the Bible. I think it's true. I think it's a prophecy of the last days. So think I believe in it and what it contains. And I absolutely believe that we are in the last days and that Jesus' second coming is much closer than we believe. And I feel like we are enjoying life too much and going about our days, and life is good and Nandi, and yet his coming is drawing closer and closer, and we people of the church are conforming more and more to the world and starting to be a bit more laissez-faire about the things of God and taking things lightly, and yet his coming is closer and closer. So I believe in the book of Revelations, and I think Jesus is coming very, very soon. We are definitely in the last days. If you look at the things that are happening, there's no other explanation. It's the last days. And then, happy birthday. Have a lovely birthday. My question is, was studying LLB hard after you have been a science student for the past 3 years, totally past 4 years? And my answer is no, it was not. I was a science student, and I believe a lot of the skills that you learn in sciences are applicable across all sectors. Sciences generally has you become a critical and analytical thinker, because you need to analyze a lot of things, especially if you do things like chemistry. You have you get a lot of analytical skills which you need when you're studying law, because it's a lot of black letter law, scenario, critical and analytical thinking of how to apply the law to the scenario, and how to argue a different position from what would be the the mainstream position. So no, I did not struggle at all. The only big difference, I think, is the volumes of reading that you have to do. I think sciences are a bit more compact and succinct, whereas law is a bit bulky and the reading just never stops. But I think that goes for any career. So no, I did not struggle at all. I was a distinction student right from my first year up to my master's. Completely did not struggle at all. So yeah, those are the questions that I received. Thank you so much. Thank you for the well wishes. Some of you didn't have questions but had well wishes for my birthday. I appreciate them so much, and thank you guys for being my family and my pockets of joy in this noisy world. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Please share the channel. I need the channel to grow. I need to feel like the effort that I put into this work is actually yielding something. So please help my channel grow. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.